What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming part 3 of my story time for my labor, delivery, and birth story of my baby girl. So those of you that have not seen part 1 and 2 yet, go back, watch those 2 videos first, and then come back to this video so that you guys are updated on the story. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell so that you guys are notified every single time I post. And thank you for joining my journey. Just a little disclaimer, I'm still new to this YouTube thing, but I'm giving it a try for 2023. And yeah, if you're willing to be a part of it, then thank you. And those of you that have already been here, thank you also. Okay, so let's jump right into the story. Last video was a little lengthy, which I told you guys it would be because I had so much to talk about. It was so much information. So this video, hopefully it will be a lot shorter, but also informative as well. Okay, so this portion of the story time will be about bringing my baby home from the hospital. So after that long experience, not such a great experience as the first one. I brought my baby home. It was a beautiful, bright, sunny day. We left the hospital around, I'd say, 11, 12. Then we made like 1 or 2 stops before we got back to my place. So, sorry guys. So, sorry, I got a little message in the middle of this. So yeah, we made it back to my place. Then I was so happy to come home, you guys. After being in the hospital for 2 days with that horrible experience, and well, really 3 days, because it was the day of my labor and then 2 days that they kept me. After that experience, I was so excited to get back home. And I mean, the amount of pain I was in was out of this world. But let me tell you, it was very worth it. Once you see your baby, you have that bond, like that immediate bond, especially mother and baby. It is like the best feeling in the world, let me tell you. Although I was sad that her dad wasn't with me for the delivery, I was happy to come home to him and with the baby. I felt like I was coming home with a gift, like a life-changing gift. You know what I mean? So yeah, obviously we both made her. But I also felt like it was just a huge life-changing moment for the both of us. And she came out of me. Like, that was the crazy part. Like, it's almost like, I don't even know, like, I'm speechless right now. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it was like a surreal moment. It really was the best moment. Even though I was in so much pain, every bit of it was worth it. I would do it again and again and again. I only want 2 children most, but if we had, to have more, or if we chose to have 1 more, it would be 3 maximum, like no more. But my point is, I would do it again and again and again. Not literally, but you guys know what I mean. It is so worth it. The experience is so beautiful in itself. And once your baby comes, you forget about the bad parts of it, which is the doctors and, the long hours in labor or the pain you endure. It like goes out of the window, literally. But when I got home, I was in a lot of pain still, expectantly. After having an episiotomy, those of you that don't know what that is, it's when you're stitched up because your feminine parts teared during delivering your baby. And I had to have stitches to sew it back together. So sorry to be a little TMI, but I'm just telling you guys the story, exactly how it went. So I had an episiotomy. I was in a lot of pain. I could barely walk. Like, from the car to my house door took me like 20 minutes to get in the door. Obviously you're still bleeding from just having a baby. You bleed for about the next 3 weeks. because your body's getting rid of all of that, stuff that was in there and moved out of the way for the baby and everything. Your body is now preparing to get back to normal, which healing takes months. Like for some women, it's over a year. But as far as the bleeding process, that's about 3 weeks after you deliver. So bleeding, super painful down there from the episiotomy. My legs, like I said, was super swollen. My feet were super swollen from all the water and IV fluids that they given me. But I was still so happy to be home to my husband, and most importantly, just home in my own space. My house was clean. We made sure it was nice and sanitized and fresh before I went to the hospital. Then in the hospital, I called and had my husband clean up again just to make sure everything was clean and sterile and sanitized. And it's nothing like being at home in your own space. You know what I mean? You're comfortable. You finally get to somewhat get a good night's sleep. So, yeah, it was beautiful. I walked in the door. My husband came to help us at the car with the car seat and etc., bags and everything else. I had a few things from the pharmacy that I had to get for my own care. So immediately you start taking that same night and so on until, however it's prescribed for. But yeah, the look on his face was like, wow, he was so happy, guys. And so was I. Like I said, aside from, sorry if I sound a little, let me just say this. If I sound a little shaky, a little emotional, it's because reliving that moment, it is an emotional moment for me. It was so life-changing. Like, I can't express it enough. I love my daughter endlessly. Like, she came into my life during a very hectic year for us all. Although I didn't endure much, life-changing events, I would say, from COVID, it definitely affected us in different ways. And that was a tough year for everyone. So it was a great gift, despite the terrible year that we all endured. Terrible and scary year, I should say. It was a great gift to have after enduring all of that. The quarantine and losing my job, my business slowing down because of the quarantine and the pandemic that took place. So yeah, it was a great gift to have at the end of all of that chaos. You know what I mean? And I was lucky enough to be home with my baby. I was lucky enough to not only be home most of my pregnancy, except for like the first 2 months. I was home the entire rest of my pregnancy. So I got to relax, kick my feet up, rest, eat as much as I wanted, sleep as much as I wanted, whatever. Binge watch Netflix. That's literally what I did, by the way. It was great. And then once she came, I got to do the same thing because I worked for myself still. So I still wasn't back to work punching the clock for somebody. I was still working for myself. And obviously I could take as much time as I need because I'm my own boss, right? So it was wonderful. I was home a long time with her, actually, like the first year of her life. And then I had to get back into the swing of things naturally. You know what I mean? Like, that's just life. Actually, 2 weeks after she had already been born back home, I had went back to my salon after 2 weeks, actually. So that's not exactly accurate what I just said. So after 2 weeks of her coming home, I went right back to my business, and I was taking things slowly at first, before really jumping back into it and filling my schedule. But as far as working a full-time job and working for somebody else, that was well over a year before I went back to working a full-time job. So she already had been over 1 year old. So like I said, I felt blessed to be able to be home with my baby and my family and really cater to her and make that bond and that connection. Aside from that, I breastfed religiously every single day, all day long. I was also on a schedule, so every 2 hours, those of you that know, when you have a newborn, It's every 2 hours, guys. You gotta wake up, whether you're tired or not. You gotta feed your baby. If not, there are many things that could happen, like they become underfed, which is, there's a specific term for that. Can't think of it right now. They're malnourished, I think it's called. Yeah, malnourished, when you're underfed, when you're underweight. So that's one thing that can happen to the baby. And also, you know, it's just not good in general if they're not eating on a timely manner. Obviously, they can't feed themselves, so you have to get up and do it, whether you're tired or not. So, little tip I learned was it's excellent to have somebody at home with you at least the first 2 weeks so that you could, you know, help get into the swing of things, help with your routine, help with waking you up at night, because it's hard to get up on your own. You are exhausted. Mark my words, you're exhausted. Especially mama, after delivering baby and enduring the pain that I did and still being in pain coming home. Like, I was exhausted, you guys. I can't even tell you how tired I was. I think my eyes were this swollen. My legs and my feet were swollen alone. My girl parts were swollen and out of whack. Like, I felt like I had been hit by a truck 5 times. So just imagine that, along with being sleep deprived for the past 3 days. So yeah, I was exhausted. It was so hard to wake up at night, but my mom was here with us for the first 2 weeks to help us out as new parents, and also to just show us the ropes of how to be new parents at home. She is well experienced after 4 children. So it was great to, you know, have her here to help us with that. And also, I needed help myself, you guys. Like I said, I was out of commission completely, head to toe. Like, I was torn up. But I had my family here, my mom, my sister. My sister was here in and out, like, every other couple days. But my mom was here, like, 2 weeks, sleeping over every day for 2 weeks. So that was very helpful. And in the beginning, when I was pregnant, she's still mad at me to this day for it. But, you know, me being an older daughter, and I know she has her life, I have mine. I was like, you know, she's like, oh, I can't wait to stay the first 2 weeks with you guys, you know. And I was like, oh, you know, we got it. And me not realizing how much really it takes to take care of a baby. And, you know, you see this little bundle of joy. You're so excited to bring your baby home and bond and get that attachment with them. But you don't realize how much is really involved. You know what I mean? You got to feed on a schedule. Not only that, the mamas usually need her own attentiveness for herself because, like I said, you're completely out of order. And then dad is his first time too. So how is he going to take care of me and the baby at the same time? His first time dealing with it with no help. It's nearly impossible. So I was very grateful to have my mom here all for those 2 weeks, and my sister in and out. And my sister's in nursing, so she definitely knows her stuff as far as health and, you know, etc. So it was really helpful, you guys. I breastfed, like I said, so I was pumping. I would feed her on one breast, pump on the other every 2 hours. My milk supply was enough to feed a village. So I was so grateful for that, because those of you that know, not a lot of people have a lot of breast milk. They just don't. Some people, right after delivering, they try to latch the baby and the baby doesn't latch. Might not be the milk supply, maybe it's just the baby. Some babies want it and some babies don't. Some women could supply enough milk, some women can't. So I was very grateful. My baby latched immediately, like 2 seconds out of the womb. She was on the nipple and off with the races. Like, she was immediately latched, and my milk supply, like I said, was a major abundance. So I had more than enough milk. And yeah, I breastfed and fed her at the same time. Breast pumped and fed her at the same time every 2 hours consecutively, every single day, daily. And then the 2 weeks that I went back to my business, I would just bring my pump with me. So I had a portable pump. Usually those of you that have insurance, your insurance covers that. So, luckily we don't have to worry about the fee and the cost of it. Most insurances will give you a pump for free and they cover it. So that was excellent. So I had a portable pump. I used the Medela pump. It's yellow, portable. And it was great. It worked fine for me. At the end was weird because I got a little confused. I was like, I feel like I need one stronger, because then my milk supply started slowing down, but I forgot I was intentionally making it slow down so that she could stop, because she was only almost 2 years old before she stopped breastfeeding. So yeah, I wanted to go to 1, but I ended up going to 1.5. And I was like, yeah, she's way too close to 2 years old to still be in my boob. So her dad actually wanted her to still be breastfeeding, but Mama had to get back to work. I'm also still in my master's program. And it became like too much to really commit to every day, when I know that she was well old enough to drink regular milk now and drink other things. You know what I mean? So by 1.5, I stopped, but she breastfed a really long time, and I'm glad I breastfed her as long as I did. I didn't think I would even get past 1, actually. So I did pretty good with that, you guys. What else information can I give you? For my episiotomy, I still had the same care as I did in the hospital with the ice pack pad, and I had certain creams and Wicks pads to clean myself down there and place on my underwear so that it is some sort of relief until the next time to change myself. So that helped out a lot. And I couldn't sleep in my bed. My bed is very tall. Like our bed is heightened, like it's really risen, I would say, from the floor. Like if I'm standing up, my bed is like at my hips, or almost at my belly, my stomach area. Like that's how tall my bed is off the floor. So there was no way possible that I was getting in that bed like the first 3 weeks after having her. So yeah, it took like 3 weeks for me to actually get back in my bed. So for the time being, I slept on an air mattress in the living room, me and my husband and the baby. Well, no, let me correct that. The baby slept with my mom for the duration of her time being here with us, because we didn't want to roll over on her, especially with us being so sleep deprived and tired. We definitely did not want to roll over on her in the middle of the night without realizing. So yeah, for safety reasons, she slept with my mom, and then when it was time to feed, my mom brought her to me every 2 hours. So yeah, that's how we did that. I think it was a safe way to go. But those of you that, don't really have that help at home right away, then you gotta sacrifice and do what you can, They have the little boppy pillows that you use like for feeding in the beginning. You can put them on that in the middle of the bed. That way it's something other than just the baby, in between you guys, so that you don't roll over on the baby at night. That would be horrible tragedy, obviously. So we didn't want to chance it. So yeah, the baby slept with my mom for that reason. And what else happened? That was pretty much the bulk of it. We changed her diapers, whenever they were wet, and poop. As far as the poop stages, there are multiple stages in the beginning. So it goes like different colors, different textures, all of that. I won't get into too much detail, but yes, those of you that don't know, there's different kinds of poop in the beginning. So yeah, we definitely got pooped on several times. We got peed on several times. And let me tell you, you guys will learn to love it all. Like, thinking about it sounds like, ew, gross, you know? Like, that was my first thought, actually. But, I mean, I tell you, there's no poop in the world that can get on me besides my baby's poop without me actually freaking out. So when I tell you the love is so strong between you and your child, it really is. Endure it, embrace it, feel good about it. And another thing I wanted to touch on briefly, when you want to be a parent, and, you know, obviously, given the fact that there's so many parents out there that, well, not parents, there's so many couples out there that can't reproduce, and they can't have babies naturally, and they have to go through this whole IVF journey. You gotta really be grateful. But those of you that want children, you're able to have them. I mean, it is the greatest thing in the world, because, like I said, there's so many families that can't. And if you're able to, why not? You know what I mean? Enjoy it, embrace it, feel good about it, do the damn thing at parenting. Don't let nobody tell you differently. And that's it. Just being first-time parents felt amazing. We absolutely loved every moment of it, especially me, because I was with her 24/7 in the beginning, like I said, for like the whole first year. Aside from me going back to my business, I had my own schedule. So when I was ready to go home to my baby, I did. And it was beautiful. But now, 2 years later, she is a spoiled little thing, but I absolutely love it. I adore her. I wouldn't change anything in the world that I did. I will say, though, as far as holding her in the beginning so much, obviously I breastfed, so I had to hold her for certain durations throughout the day for that reason. But as far as just holding her, like staring at her little face and her little features and her little everything, you know, sometimes we get caught up in their little cuteness, and we want to hold our babies for hours throughout the day. You know, we want to cuddle with them in bed instead of putting them in their crib or in their playpen or in their swing. So that is something that I will do differently come my next baby, because it could be a disaster later as far as them being so spoiled and always wanting to be held. My baby wants to be held when she wants to be held, and until you hold her, she will kick and scream. Not now, because she's a little older, so not now. She doesn't have that problem now, but like when she was in her infancy stages, like certain months up until, you know, a little past 1 year old, she was just always so spoiled as far as wanting to be held. If you didn't pick her up, she'd kick and scream and cry until you do. And I will take part in that because, like I said, being home with her for a year, I was blessed to do so. But I did kind of help her get spoiled in that way, you know. Me, my mom, my sister, all of us are guilty, actually, with that. So, but you can't help it. Your baby's just your baby, and you want to do everything to make them happy. So that was definitely something that I wouldn't say I regret, but I would do a little differently come the next baby, because I've learned, you know, and that's the great part about it. You go through things in life so that you can learn for the next time, for the next go round, and you don't make the same mistakes. And I wouldn't even consider this a mistake, because like I said, it's your child. You want to do anything to make your child happy. So I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but it's definitely something that you don't want to be in the middle of something, your baby's screaming, crying uncontrollably until you pick them up. You don't want to be doing chores around the house or cooking dinner or trying to do homework like me and your baby's kicking, screaming, and crying to be held. And unless you held them, they don't stop. You don't really want to experience that, because it could be a little stressful, could be a little overwhelming. So now that I know, and I've learned already from that, I definitely will do that differently next child. But aside from all of that, I absolutely enjoyed having my baby home. Especially during COVID, I was super clean. I'm already clean. Like, my house is spick and span. You could eat off my floors. But when you have a newborn, you have to really be careful because every little thing can get them sick. Mark my words, every little thing. If you sneeze and you're 5 feet away from the baby can get sick. Like, the next day, they wake up with a cold and not feeling well. So you really just have to be careful. Any little thing that the baby touches or it's near the baby, make sure it's wiped down, make sure it's sanitized, make sure it's clean. Their clothes. I mean, Eva couldn't even drool on her face. Like, any little saliva, you know how they're little and they get spit and drool and whatever on their cells, like from using their pacifier or drinking their milk or whatever. Any little drop of whatever on her skin, her face, her clothes, I was like always wiping. So now she's like this little neat freak 2-year-old. She doesn't want her hands dirty. She doesn't want her clothes dirty. If she has a spot on her clothes, like from eating pizza, she'll say, "Mommy, I made a mess. Can you change it?" Like, she does not like to be dirty at all. So I have a little neat freak 2-year-old, which is fine. I'm completely fine with it. I'd rather her be neat than the opposite. So I created that little monster. But yeah, you guys, bringing her home was a breeze with the help of my family, and I really do appreciate it. And yeah, that was pretty much my bringing home baby story. I did not want to make this video long and super drawn out like the last one. And there was no need for it to be. It's super simple, super easy to explain. But I wanted to give you guys a brief little story time about that. And just some little pointers as far as breastfeeding and, sanitizing and the importance of that, the importance of pumping. If you're one that's going to breastfeed, make sure you pump every 2 hours also. I would say most of it is common sense stuff, which is why I thought I didn't need my mom's help. Because I thought, like, it's common sense. Like, you change the baby's diaper, you wash them, you wait for their little umbilical cord to fall off, you keep that sanitary and clean and dry. You wake up every 2 hours. I guess I would have just put on my alarm clock. I don't know. Like, what else is there really to do with a newborn, right? That's what I thought initially before having her. And then once I was actually in the midst of it, like those first 2 weeks, and then seeing how out of order I was, which was unexpected. Because, some women have babies and they come home and they're walking perfectly fine. Like, they're fine. Like, they have no issues. They're not in pain. They're not swollen. None of that. Like, their midsection obviously is a little tender naturally, like that's expected, but it's not where you can't function, But for me, it was different, you guys. I was completely out of order, like out of order. Literally, I could have stuck that sign on my head and walked around like that, which I wasn't expecting. So I was really, really, really grateful for the help that I did have. And, yeah, that's pretty much it, you guys. So this video is short and sweet, not too long, but I tried to keep it informative for you guys. Hand out some tips for those of you that don't know. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and join the family, those of you that haven't. And I want to know how you guys' New Year's is going. Drop down in the comments and let me know if your New Year's is starting off right. I know it's only week 1, but hey, in week 1, I know some things have happened in some people's lives already. So let me know in the comments down below. And those of you that have experienced bringing a baby home for the first time, let me know your experience in the comments. I want to know, because every experience is different, and we all have different reactions. We all have different outcomes. So it's never the same experience, you know. So for this baby, that was my experience, part 1, 2, and 3. And for my next baby, who's to say it won't be way different? We don't know. So let me know in the comments, and I thank you guys for watching. And until next time, I am Ebby. Have a good day.